Hello Puppet fans! And welcome to this lecture. In this section we will continue last lecture to inspect the infrastructure by exploring the nodes, reports and events sections. In previous lab we have explored the console overview section. Now let's review the nodes section. In nodes section you can view all your nodes managed through Puppet Master. After selecting a node you can further view its properties like Node Graph. The Node Graph provides a graphic representation of any node's configuration. Shows you the relationships between classes and resources. And lets you gain greater insight into just how the Puppet Master compiles your code and ships it to an agent. Visualizing relationships between resources helps you organize them, creating more reliable deployments. The Node Graph displays a node's catalog, as of the last Puppet run, as an interactive visual map. The graph shows the desired state for each resource that P manages, as well as each resource's status as of the last run, and helps you understand the dependencies between resources. It also allows you to visually identify complexity you may not need, and problematic dependencies that need your attention. The Node Graph is an ideal tool for gaining greater insight into your deployment, visualizing the relationship of resources on your nodes, diagnosing dependency loops and viewing all impacted resources, helping new users to understand relationships among classes and resources in their Puppet catalog, understanding defined resource types as they are deployed across your configuration, understanding the content of modules. Now go to Facts tab. Here you can get the list of all facts like client version, disks, file system, IP addresses, kernel major version, memory facts, operating systems facts and so on. So let's check out few facts on your agent node and compare it in Puppet console. So on your node run command factor P to get all the facts list. This command will list all the external or in-build facts values same like showing in Puppet console. You can also run command just to check the single fact value. Factor kernel OS version, factor kernel, and factor OS. You can match the output with the console facts values. Next tab is Packages. The Packages page in the console shows all packages in use across your infrastructure by name, version, and provider, as well as the number of instances of each package version in your infrastructure. Use the Packages page to quickly identify which nodes are impacted by packages you know are eligible for maintenance updates, security patches, and license renewals. Next tab is Configuration. Configuration tab will show you all the classes assigned to that node while classifying that node in Node Group Classification, which we will cover in Configure section. Next tab is Variables. Next tab is Variables. Here you can declare global variables to be used by the nodes in the Node Group Classification. Next is Report. Here you can find all the Puppet runs result, and same you can check in Report Sections tab. Next is Group tab. Here you will find the groups this node assigned to in Node Group Classification. Next is Activity tab. Here you can view history of changes made to the group during Node Group Classification, We will cover this section in Classification Lab. In Report section you will find the reports for all the nodes. And when you will select any report, Puppet will show you the events, logs and metrics for that Puppet run. Puppet Report can help you to find the issues related to class failure, corrective changes, international changes and so on. Log tab will provide you the complete logs of that Puppet run. You can filter the reports by time or by error level. Next section is Events. Event Summary View is an overview of recent Puppet activity across your whole infrastructure, and can help you rapidly assess the magnitude of any issues. The summary view is split into 3 sublists, with one for each perspective: classes with events, nodes with events, and resources with events. Each sublist shows the number of events for that perspective. Once the summary view has brought a group of events to your attention, you can use Check Insight to analyze their root causes. Event will be groups into groups based on their role in Puppet's configuration code. Instead of taking a node-centric perspective on a deployment, events grouping takes a more holistic approach by adding the class and resource views. One way to think about this is to see the node as where an event takes place, while a class shows what was changed, and a resource shows how the change came about. To see how this works in a practical sense. Let's take the events from last 24 hours. And you can see the classes with corrective changes applied in last 24 hours, or if there were any failure that will also be reported in class failure events. So here we can see NTP configuration was applied, and you can further check on which node the NTP class was applied. In Nodes with Events section you will find the same information but from the node perspective, like Node 1 got the configuration changes for NTP module. In Resource Events you will again find the same information but from the resource perspective way, like NTP module will have the file, package and service resource, and you can list each resource changes. Okay. So in this section we have continued last lab in exploring the console inspect features. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have time, feel free to move on to next lecture.